Whether you earn a six-figure salary or have a six-figure portfolio. If you feel guilty when you try to sleep in late on a Saturday because you feel like you should be doing something, or you haven't taken a real vacation in years because you assume everything will fall apart without you. You look secure on paper, but your nervous system says otherwise. Regardless of how much money you make, sis, you're still in survival mode. Want to talk about it? Hey, I'm Malika, a stock market investor and a money coach. I achieved financial freedom in my 40s, walked away from a six-figure career after burnout, and then I moved abroad for a better quality of life. Now I live on passive income from my portfolio, and I coach other women that want to do the same. But girl, a few days ago, my nervous system said, "What freedom?" Child, let me tell you what happened. To make a long story short, my day just got off to a rough start. So now, the last time I was in Thailand, I let the Thai ladies braid my hair, and they did a pretty good job. But this time, I wanted a black braider. I wanted someone who really knew what she was doing. So I did extensive research and I confirmed my findings with someone that had had their hair done with this person. She was available. Her rate was somewhat consistent with the Thai rates, what it should cost in Thailand. But child, my first red flag should have been when I asked her for her shop location and she sent me the pin to a residential address. And so I'm like, all right, girl, I don't know you, but all right. The second red flag should have been when I arrived and I texted and said, I'm here. And a few minutes later, a Thai lady just appears from around the corner and she says to me, follow me. I'm like, follow you where? She said it like we on some undercover mission. Like, what in the world? So here go my crazy butt. I go follow her. But my third red flag, yes, in hindsight, I've counted them all. My third red flag was when we walked up to this property. It looked like it was a storefront. It looked like it was a business on the outside. And then she slid the door to the side like it was a garage door. So I'm like, okay. So I got my camera out. I'm recording. There will be evidence of everything, pictures, video, everything. So I walk in and I step into a place that looked like a living room. Child, there was kids running around, the TV playing loud, toys everywhere, food everywhere, and there were several Thai ladies doing hair in the back. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? Because these children I'm seeing running around, they black, but I only see Thai ladies doing hair. Child, I'm scanning the place and I'm processing it all and taking it all in and trying to figure out if I want to stay. And then she closes the door behind me, and I heard a padlock click. Y'all, I whipped my head around. I was like, why is there a padlock on the door? And she tried to explain, but listen, my brain started panicking, like, do 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 do, get up out of here. And because of all the commotion I was making, a black woman comes from around the corner and she's like, what's going on here? I said, are you the name of the person who owns the shop? And she said, yes. Long story short, there was a lot of words exchanged because I was upset. She see me upset, so she had an attitude in her response to me. I match energy. I'm just like, let me up out of here. And then when she realized she was about to lose money, she kind of changed her tone a little bit and she apologized. I was still on edge, But she explained the reason for the padlock had something to do with her kids running around, and one of the younger kids know how to open the door and they run out and something, something, something. Anyway, child, against my better judgment, I stayed. How they say it? What's the phrase? The Lord takes care of babies and fools. I'm clearly not a baby. But as you can see, I did get my hair done, and the braids are actually cute, and I actually like it a lot better than I did the first style. But child, the kids screaming, running around, one of the kids jumping all on me, trying to hug me, eating, got food all on his hands. One of the kids was sick, found out the kid had been sick and had been running a fever for like 2 or 3 days. Girl, I had to make her stop and take the child to the doctor because the fever was going up. She told me, I'm gonna finish your hair, then we're gonna go to the clinic. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Time out. Take that baby to the clinic right now. So, because that was my suggestion, I'm sitting in her house, twiddling my thumbs, playing on my phone with my head half done. And while she's gone, all the noise and the chaos and the drama, oh my goodness, it was just a lot going on. She gets back, the baby's feeling better. She got food. I'm starving because I'm trying to get my hair done. A style that was only supposed to take 3 to 4 hours, I end up being there for, I think, like over 7 hours. By the time she was done, it was dark. It was a wild day from start to finish, and I was exhausted. I never take a motorbike at night. I just started getting comfortable riding motorbikes, but I never take a motorbike at night. But they come faster than cars. So, honey, I called me a motorbike and I hopped on the first thing smoking. By the time I got back to my place, I was tapped out, exhausted. Took a shower and went straight to bed. Whew. Here's the point of my story. When I woke up the next morning, I had plans. I always like to start my day with my faith walk. So I was supposed to go to the park to do my walk. And then I had an appointment for a spa treatment. But I didn't have it in me. After the day I had prior, child, I rolled over and went right back to sleep. By the time I woke up, it was, I want to say like 1 p.m. It was the afternoon. The whole morning, gone. My spa appointment, missed it. My mind was like, girl, get up. Get up and get out of here. But my body was like, no, we tired. When I rolled over and told myself I was going to lay in bed and I wasn't going to do anything that day, my first thought was, but you said you were going to take a walk in the park. But you said this was important to you. And then my next thought was, girl, why you being lazy? Why you want to lay in the bed all day? And then the next thought was, yesterday wasn't that bad. Why you so stressed? What's wrong with you? Why you making excuses? Get up. And then the final thought I had was, push through. Get up and push through and go do all the things you said you were going to do anyway. I had just had a chaotic day. You could probably call it a traumatic day. But I had had a day that had drained my battery to E, and my body was screaming for rest. But my first instinct was to guilt myself for listening to my body. This was the hustle programming that was trying to will me out of the bed. And it let me know that even with financial freedom, I still have a survivor mentality. I'm still dealing with the impact and the after effects for being in survival mode for so long. So as I'm laying there in my bed, I'm thinking about all these messages I had that was telling me to get up, you're making excuses, it wasn't that bad, push through, you're being lazy. And the whole time my body is telling me to rest. I had to sit with my thoughts and question, where is this coming from? I've been retired now for almost 4 years, but here I am still battling the mental conditioning of being in survival mode. And then it dawned on me, these thoughts are not coming from out of nowhere. These thoughts come from everything that I have normalized for over 50 years. And I started processing the thoughts. Number one, I've been on welfare for almost a decade. Welfare taught me that rest equals poverty and that hustle equals survival. So if you're not moving, if you're not doing something, you must be failing. And after being on welfare for almost 10 years as a single mother, I had to prove that I was trying. I had to prove to myself. I had to prove to the social worker. I had to prove to my school counselor. I had to prove to my family. I had to prove to so many people that I was at least trying. I had to show that I was working, that I was doing something. And rest was not an option. That was my first 10 years of adulthood. And then the second place it came from was being a single mom. Single motherhood taught me that my needs come last, always. My child has to eat first. I must prepare my child for bed first. And I must make sure that she gets adequate rest. But me, I have to push through. I have to push through because I have this human, this little innocent human that's relying on me to take care of her. So I couldn't rest. I had to push through. And then the third source of this messaging is corporate America. I spent over 20 years in corporate America. And corporate America taught me that my value is equal to my productivity. I'm only as good as my last project, even if I did the best that anyone had ever done. Now that this new project is assigned to me, it's like, okay, what now? What you gonna do next? Show me how you're gonna be productive again. Because rest wasn't for me. I had to constantly produce. I had to constantly excel. I had to constantly go above and beyond for 20 years in corporate America. So now this is 30 years of conditioning that's telling me that rest is for the weak, that I'm supposed to keep pushing through. Not to mention my entire lived experience as a Black woman. As a Black woman in corporate, as a Black single mother, and as a Black woman in America. You know what that means. We have to work twice as hard. We have to show up early. We have to stay late. Even when we're not feeling well, we have to push through. Even when we have problems, something that we're unhappy with, we're supposed to be grateful for this job, grateful for this opportunity. We're never allowed to complain. And we most certainly are never allowed to rest because the moment you do, they're watching. If you take too many days off, they're watching. If you come in late too many times because you got a sick kid at home, they're watching. They're watching and waiting for us to fail. And all of that messaging gets internalized. It becomes a voice in your head that says if you're not pushing through, if you're not working hard, if you're not showing up, if you're not putting yourself last, you're lazy, you're making excuses. You said you would do XYZ. We're relying on you. And even though you're tired, push through anyway. So even when no one is watching, even when you're retired after working in corporate for over 20 years, or maybe 30 or 40 years, however long you've been working, when no one else is watching, when there are no consequences for resting, even when you have money in the bank, the circumstances may change, but the programming does not disappear overnight. I've been retired for 4 years, but I had the programming for over 30. I am still dealing with the consequences of being programmed to survive. I'm getting better. Just like the situation I just described to you, I recognize it now and I'm able to override the thoughts. But some of you may not be able to do that yet. You may feel guilty if you try to override the thoughts. So I'm sharing my experience so that you understand that you're not alone and to help you understand where it might come from. And what I'm realizing now, what I'm learning about financial freedom is that once you have the money, it removes all of the external excuses. The exhaustion, I can't blame it on work. It's decades of telling myself my needs don't matter. The guilt, it's not about like breaking a promise to myself. You said you were going to go walking. You said you were going to go to the spa. It's because I have been conditioned to believe that rest makes me lazy because I'm supposed to be busy doing something. And girl, that push through messaging, that push through anyway mentality, no matter how exhausted you are, that's most definitely survival mode. And it doesn't turn off just because you have money. I hate to tell you that. Financial freedom or reaching whatever financial goal you have, it just gives you the space to finally see it. It gives you the space to recognize what you had normalized for years, for decades. But the money doesn't fix it for you. This is the real work that nobody talks about after you've made it, after you've retired early, after you've achieved the financial freedom, the location freedom, the time freedom. You are still left with you, and your mind is still in survival mode. So we have to make a conscious effort to work through that, to override our conditioning, to counter those thoughts with more positive thoughts that says it's okay to rest. So I wonder if you've experienced this too. Not just the exhaustion from the hustle and the grind and the capitalist society, but the guilt about resting, the urge to push through even when you're tired. What does your survival programming say to you? I used to think that everything would change once I had more money, and it doesn't. The money just reveals more of what's already there. I'm still figuring this out. I'm still learning about myself every single day. So I don't have the answers, But I just wanted to share where I am today. And by the way, I did choose to rest, but I'm still doing the work because I have a feeling that I'm not the only one still unlearning. I thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.